Adam Conrad composed this beautiful orchestration. He and I met, and that brought this album to a whole new level. Orchestrations that just blew me away, and I just am thankful that I met him every day. I owe a big thanks to Ben Kelly for introducing us. As far as I'm concerned, we are going to work, forever.
Nice.
As far as we haven't formed some contract or anything, but in my mind, we have like a 5-album deal. Adam wrote all these big orchestrations, and he did that on 3 different tracks, actually 4. One is not released on the album. One's going to only be on the cassette tape.
So here's a CD. There's going to be the vinyl. There's going to be a cassette tape.
And there's a cassette tape.
What's the name of the absent track?
It's called Starry Night.
Okay.
Which is actually on the If You Like to Be Alone album.
So it's a reworking of it? With orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other 2 songs besides title track?
Hummingbird.
Hummingbird,
which is a song that is not on anything other than this cassette tape, which I only have 10 copies of for sale at the release show. So we have 10 copies. Everything is...
I'll let there be 200 vinyls so long as there can only be 10 tapes.
Yes, 200 vinyl, 10 tapes, and I don't know, however many CDs I can actually put together by the time the show starts.
Okay, and which are the other 2?
So She and Tune It Out has some orchestration,
and
Alley Bells has some orchestration as well.
Opening track, Alley Bells.
Alley Bells.
Yeah, here we are in the alley. Yeah, so the alley being the cover. The illustration and layout is by Dan Black.
Yes.
Is this a specific location that's significant to him and or you in Chicago?
It's a great story, really. I don't know all the specific details, but Dan and I have been friends forever, since junior high.
Yeah.
And we were in bands together in high school, and he is a very, very amazing artist, and he drew all that by hand, and it's very impressive to watch. This was a photograph he sent me of this actual place, and actually, I don't know if you got. Oh yeah. Here.
It's on the. That's the photograph.
Yeah, the photograph's on the
big
inside.
reveal.
That's the actual photograph is on the back of there.
We can play Spot the Difference.
Yeah, it's really fun. So.
And there are some significant differences.
Yeah.
I'm noticing the absence of a boat.
Oh yeah, no, there's no boat. We tried to hide a lot of the themes of the songs, but the story behind the place was that it was like a thrift store or outdoor vintage alleyway of sorts, and there's a pay what you will box. You could just take anything you want and leave, but I like the trust of put some money in if you're gonna take something. I like that a lot. And then the idea of kind of making old stuff new is something we both kind of appreciate. My record collection is like 1968 to 72 or 3 in general. If you averaged all the ages, that would be kind of like the center somewhere in there. So it is kind of like taking this old, Burt Bacharach and Paul Williams and Harry Nilsson and just kind of and Donovan, all that stuff, and just kind of taking it and kind of polishing it off and try to make it a little bit my own and new and just kind of that style of music just always really spoken to me, I guess. And so that's, I think,
filtered through Adam Conrad's orchestra.
Yeah, and he likes that period of music as well. I think he learned a lot from his grandfather, who was truly an film orchestrator back in that time period. So.
And Adam is involved in Improvistra. Yeah. Who were playing at the record release in the Clown Lounge.
Yes, he is. So he's going to be kind of while we're setting up upstairs for the next thing, his Improvistra is going to be just like bombastically.
For people who don't know, what is a bombastic Improvistra?
Improvistra is a improv orchestra, which is made up of anywhere from 5 to 20, 25 people, and generally orchestra people don't get to jam. Yeah. It's not a thing they get to do. They have to do a lot of reading music, and what am I doing there? Reading music. Yep. So this is like a way for them to kind of get together and hang out and just see what happens. And so Adam is actually conducting them without music, and he says, give me something here, louder, and he can control it all with his he's got some little cues that he gives them as a conductor would. It hits you every once in a while with music like that. Jazz, you're like, there was nothing a minute ago, and now there's all of this stuff. Whereas for me, it took me like 5 years to write a 2.5-minute song. But like,
that's how long it takes me too.
Yeah. So the show is filled with some exciting bands. I've got Improvistra. That's going to be great. That's just like a bonus to me, because that's like between all the upstairs stuff that's happening, you get to, when the music ends, just go right. They're gonna start right then and go.
Are some of the same people that are playing in that also accompanying your band as an orchestra, or is there going to be an orchestra component?
It's not a secret or anything, but we are going to use the orchestra. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's going to be
just secretive enough.
Tasteful and simple and easy to do at the Turf Club.
Cool.
At the Turf Club. To use an orchestra at the Turf Club, I think we've figured out the one way to do it, and that's how we're going to do it.
Great.
And it's still going to be
for
complicated.
finding the way.
Yeah, it's still not going to be easy. So
leading the way.
Yeah.
The first of many orchestras at the Turf Club.
We got Gloom Balloon from Iowa. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
I've heard good things about them.
They're insane. I saw them once, and I said if I ever get a cool enough show, I'm inviting them to play. And they have a new album out that week or this week. The week before our album release show.
Okay,
so.
Next week, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big Nilsson guy too. He and I are named both of our sons after famous 70s singer-songwriter. So yeah, it's like
his is Harry.
Nilsson, actually.
Nilsson, yeah.
And my son's Joe Beam, so.
Oh, nice.
So we need to meet and talk, because we're like the same person.
You're about to. And is the name, are they as gloomy as the name suggests?
Oh, they're the opposite, of course. You know, tongue-in-cheek, like I like.
Yeah.
That kind of just like, I actually have a Gloom Balloon pin that I wear. It just says gloom. And I love it. It just makes me laugh so hard. It's like the most. People look at it like, oh, gloom, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's makes me happy.
Yeah, kites are fun. Balloons are fun.
Yes, and
no gloom in sight.
And then my favorite band, my favorite people band of all, like Minneapolis years living here, Starfolk is going to be playing. That was like, I was so excited when they said yes to play. Allison and Brian I've been watching them play since I was like old enough to get into bars. And
how regularly do they play these days?
I don't know. They play around as the Starfolk quite a bit. I see their shows here and there, but I've just, whenever I can catch them, I just love their songs. Brian's just like a huge inspiration to me. So I always listen to his songs. The Hang Ups were a favorite of mine, and then the Owls were huge. I listened to that stuff a billion times. So whenever I talk to them, I always kind of nerd out and say too much. But
are there any songs on the record that you'd say that there's a Starfolk influence on the song?
Man, like just that general vibe that they go for is definitely something I've always tried to go for. They use instrumentation too. A lot of organs and piano. It's not afraid to be gentle and sweet, but poppy and just like really, kind of even like some more poppy Velvet Underground vibe sometimes, which is Velvet Underground's always been my favorite band. So that's my biggest like pull. I just got a DJ to play upstairs too, and that's gonna be Jen Hughes, who does DJing at all like the Fleetwood Mac night we do every year. Okay. My band. Yeah. So we do our entirely Christine McVie set, and she puts that together, and so that's the lineup.
I'm glad you highlighted the organ.
Yeah.
The organ is quite prominent on the opening track, Alley Bells.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's almost like the Doors kind of component to this, and it's not the most peaceful. If there are other moments on the record where you could imagine some of the songs being on Enlightenment, I'd say Alley Bells, which sets the tone, is not one of them.
No, it isn't.
So what's the significance of this alley, of alleys, and what's the relationship between alleys and bells?
Well, that one I co-wrote with Andrew Bartleson.
Okay.
Who's our drummer, we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
He
was in the Brian Just band.
He was in the Brian Just
continuing
band. Absolutely. Yeah. He's my man. Always got my back. He gave me a sheet of paper, a very ripped in half sheet of paper, and it said, I think he wrote the first verse. I'd have to double check it all exactly. Yeah. But in that verse, he pretty much wrote every word for word I say.
This is Sandbury Andrew. Life fades in softly by the light of the sun. A parting gift delights the passing of day.
Yeah.
And then
he wrote the word mundanities, which we both aren't sure is a word, but he thinks it's a word.
The plural of mundanity.
Yeah, the plural of mundanity.
So multiple mundane things all fly away. All the mundane things have gone. No gloom, no mundanity. Best designs augment time and its way. I've broken down and down and down again. I run circles and my feet still beat in time.
He definitely wrote that, or I wrote that about him with the foot. It's literally a drummer idea. I don't know if that was him or me, but
But it is him. Yeah. It's addressed to him. It's about
I'm looking
him.
for that lyric sheet so that I can actually tell.
Determine.
Because we were talking about which parts he wrote.
The record begins and ends with collaborative.
It's true, yeah.
Songs.
This is the most collaborative I've ever been, and it's definitely benefited the songwriting process, or the songs. Asking for help this time on this album made it a better album. I feel like it's less me, even though it's more me in the title than ever.
Interesting.
But I think it is more of a collaboration than I've ever done before.
So if the mundanities, which is a word now, we've used that now.
Yeah, it's been used. Webster Dictionary will say like as used.
Exactly. On Back to the City and as used on the record.
Sure. I guess that would be the first.
So they're flying away, and that fits, I think, with the idea of enlightenment and, getting to the core of what's significant, in touch with reality. The mundane is not that. But then I've broken down and down and down again. There's we begin and end, courtesy of Andrew and your father. These darker components come through.
Down again, yeah. I don't know. I mean, in order to find peace or calm, you have to have been feeling down.
Coming through the darkness to
you have to
light.
get through it, and I think that was probably what the feeling was there, because I can't remember where the two of our minds were when we were writing this, but I knew that the minor D minor to that progression that I was in had this kind of tone that wasn't going to be all kites are fun.
Right.
It had this.
You have to get your kites are fun.
Yeah. But it also has a ba 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 ba. So I mean, it is kites are fun still, but it's like there's just.
That's how the record begins.
I like to give it a little edge, I like to give it even just a little bit of an edge, even if I,
You have to walk across the icy lake, which is a dangerous thing to do before you can have fun.
That lake was truly on the last day of it being frozen. Unsafe. It wasn't probably safe, but we were really close because it was unfrozen on the sides, so we could walk. That was a dangerous move, sort of. But the camera was insured, is what Alex kept assuring me, which made me feel.
He assured you of the insurance.
I'm really glad that was at the beginning of the album. I didn't decide that necessarily. Someone suggested that to me, and I took a lot of his advice.
Well, you said that I was in your dream. Well, I know exactly what you mean. Every night a ray of light splits apart into two moonbeams.
Dave Campbell,
Yeah.
I gave him the thing and I said, what would you do with this track?
Yeah.
Because he's a master at that as far as I'm concerned. He's a good sequencer. He's good for set list when we played together in the Brandy Boys.
Yeah.
Blackberry Brandy Boys. And I was always impressed with the flow of things that he would get. And I can't always hear that stuff, so especially when you've heard the stuff so many times.
Yeah.
So
there's a lyric about taking suggestions, actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. We're a world away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a world away. You're a world away. You're a world away from me.
Suggestions. I'm open to them, but I am also very concerned because if I don't like it, I feel sometimes bad about
not
saying no. Like, I don't like that suggestion. but I like them, and I like to say yes, please, as many as possible, and then we'll see how they go, But that's really the joy of it. It's like more ideas, and then whittling them down to the ideas that work best.
But you always want so much more, 'cause your heart's like an open door, and every day's more than you could hope for. Yeah.
I find it interesting that it was important to begin with Alley Bells, especially because it has the lyric, I feel the light coming through, I hear the sound ringing true, so we do get this sense of moving towards something and through something else. And this emphasis on moving through something is throughout the record. In the second track, Carry Me On, it's oh carry me on, oh carry me through. I think there is more darkness, there is more sadness in this record, but it's something, it's like a scene to be moved through.
Well, you're getting at. I mean, a lot of people have told me like some of the happiest songs on my record, since they've read the lyrics, they've been kind of sad.
Yeah.
Found out how sad they sound or something.
Oh, you always want something more, 'cause your heart's like an open door, and every day's more than you could hope for. Yeah,
What are we being carried through?
Carry Me On. That one
And
is
Carry Me
very.
On.
I've started this with a lot of songs. It's literally starting about. I have a note to sing a song, and I've got my fingers to play along. I mean,
Yeah.
you're literally just saying, okay, now what?
This is the predicament
You know?
of the songwriter.
Yeah. So then, and I got my paper to write the words down, and I got my microphone to record my voice. You know, like
Yeah.
really just start with what you have. But and then I've done that a couple times with the song Duluth. I did the same thing.
Yeah. Which was ended up being on a Netflix. Is that
Oh
right?
yeah, that was on a.
That was in the documentary Raising Sparrows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Duluth was in the documentary.
moonbeam. I need a mouth to sing my song, I need my fingers to strum along. Song of the moon and song of the sinner, sleep until noon and warm me in winter. Oh, carry me on, oh, carry me through, oh, carry me on, oh, carry me through.
I think that's one of those phrases, just like, it just feels, I think it was like a winter maybe, writing just this kind of like, I just need to be pushed through the day sometimes, you know, you have struggles, everyone struggles through the days sometimes, and you just need those like, you need that extra push. And that's kind of what that song's about, all the
Yeah.
imagery and just, I don't know, just, and then the last verse is kind of just about, you know, just this kind of dream of having, maybe, you know, maybe it's a farm, and maybe it's living out in nature and being peaceful, like, or something like that. But it's not. That's not necessarily the answer ever. You know, it's like just be. You know, just carry on with where you are. You're gonna be okay.
So there's
like that.
skepticism about the dream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A
Because
lot of skepticism about my dreams.
dreams are dream is a term that's been associated with Brian Just and the Brian Just
Oh,
band a
yeah,
lot. So
dreams.
Chris Riemenschneider, for example, has said that there is concise bits of trumpet, flute, piano, and female backup vocals, all clearly laid over Just's daydreamy, lazy afternoon folk rock tunes.
Oh yeah.
So it seems like in the earlier records, and to some extent here as well, there is a daydream,
Sure.
and we're being carried through the day to the daydream. We can put our feet up, have a mojito at the end. But there's a new skepticism about dreams. The word dreams comes up a lot in different songs, and just like the boat doesn't signify one thing, the role of dreams keeps on shifting too. Can you think of any particularly pertinent moments where dreams are referenced? Because there's a bunch of them.
Well, in World Away, I think
Yeah.
the first lyric is something about when you said that I was in your dream.
Well, I know exactly what you mean.
Every night a ray of light splits apart into two moonbeams, or something like that.
And that happens at the end too. It's cyclical.
Yes. I do like the idea of dreaminess, and I like the idea of peace and calm and all these things, and I do find that in the songs. Do I find it day to day in every moment of my life? Absolutely not. I cannot ever. I mean, like I that's why I write, is to get to those points to feel relaxed and feel happy. And I'm not saying I'm going around feeling horrible all day, but but we do have this like general, some day-to-day stuff where you just feel, you feel down. But it is like I try to write out of it, I think, and try to get that inspiration to get out of it.
Yeah, and whether or not it seeps into your songs, I feel like we're kind of living in a nightmare at the moment.
Yeah.
So, and so that kind of provides some of the context here too. Are you lonely when you're dreaming? In Tune It Out, which is, we can hear at the moment, and has the orchestra again. Are you lonely when you're dreaming? Because I'm dreaming too. That's an interesting moment, like the solipsism of dreaming. That would be a reason to be skeptical about one's dreams, because if it's the opposite of being enlightened, perhaps. If on the sailboat, you're getting closer to reality. If you're fantasizing, then you're in a fantasy, you're not in reality.
Sure.
But then I'm dreaming too. It's interesting. What's going on there with the idea of unison and...
I just like the idea of two people kind of just, it's a love song.
Yeah.
It's a very much a love song. I try to write, breakup songs.
Yeah.
But I'm a married person. I live in this world of being a married person. So it's like, how do you write a breakup song? Really?
Right.
So I like to create these two people in my mind that can just like both find each other and then hate each other, and they can't be together. World Away is like just being like any sort of dream that one person or two people have that is they can't quite tackle. You know, and it just could be anything. It just like could be, your just goals that just seem to be kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever get that done, or maybe we should move to this country and try this out, and it's like, oh no, I don't think that's gonna happen, or just little things that I think about like that. It's like, oh, maybe if I bought a new bike.
Because that's how enlightenment begins, with a sense of carpe diem hope, isn't it?
Hope
in the song Maybe the sun won't come up tomorrow. Seems gloomy, but bear with us.
Yeah.
And maybe we could save ourselves somewhere else. Maybe we should go before we get too old. If not now, then when? So there is this carpe diem, let's seize the moment aspect there, but it comes up again. But
my daydreamy lazy guy comes back all the time and just says, "Well, we can just sit here and relax."
Yeah, there's nice lakes.
Well, I'm a person who, whenever I travel, and this sounds kind of lame, but whenever I go anywhere, I am one of those people who I'm like, oh, this kind of reminds me of home. I don't really need much in my life. I'm not a big traveler, but I do like to just kind of enjoy where I'm at, no matter what. And I do find places when I travel, it always seems like when I follow these big dream things, like, oh, I want to buy this thing, or I get this thing, I get it, and I'm like, oh, well, I was pretty happy before, I guess. I don't know why I needed that, or something.
But then it's the other character then in World Away that always wants something more, because your heart is an open door. And there are these two moments that are kind of at odds with one another in the record thing, because here the person has a heart that's an open door, and there's something kind of risky about that. They're not blessed with the temperament that you have, where you're kind of comfortable with what you have. Yeah. But then in She, there's a celebration of opening all the doors.
Oh yeah.
So what's happening with what's happening? What the doors mean for you?
Oh man, I don't know. I guess it's just probably like that enlightenment, back to that idea of just like you think there's something through this door that could give you peace of mind.
But it's just piracy and unhappiness.
It's not. There's nothing there.
Brown grass.
There's nothing there. I mean, like, just I think it is. I think what it comes back to me with all this stuff you're reminding me of, and I appreciate it, is it comes back to this idea of like being present and just being like, it's the conflicting ideas in my mind about like, oh, maybe I should follow this dream, but maybe I shouldn't. I need to slow down and just be at peace with my own self, and just I think that's really the battle that I'm writing now. It's like the conversation I'm having with myself in these songs that you're kind of pinpointing. Yeah. So it's like
you dream about being a pirate.
There's
you dream about
for
being a young woman, She, who has these particular desires, and then you work through that and you return to being Brian, the husband and the father.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it is like there's contradictions for sure in the songs, and I think that is, you've gotten it out of me here. I think that's why I really was curious to talk to you about this stuff. It's like two sides of me, It's like this guy's saying to this person, and then the conversation, and then kind of the solution at the end is the goal. If it makes sense.
And I get to talk with all of the Brians at once.
Yeah. I know. Oh, you don't get to talk with all of them. No.
So like you were invited.
This is a very cool, I'm fine with cameras, Brian. This is a very specific Brian is very like fun, but the you know the lyric writing Brian is kind of shuts off everything like I'm doing now, and is just very alone and sitting and thinking about stuff. And then, but yeah, you know, I mean, I'm comfortable with all the sides to my personality and where I think and how I feel. But yeah, you know, we do present these things to each other.
Yeah.
And in songwriting, you can do that in very particular ways. And like, you can be very secretive, or you can be very outwardly forward about what you're trying to say. And I find it way more fun to be secretive and to try to make these like little mysteries in there to see when people get them. And then you're obviously a lyric guy. You enjoy lyrics. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's your like.
The record sounds pretty good too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. But the music part is equally of interest to me. But I do find the lyrics to be like the true telling of who I am.
Sunrise, over there.